Hey guys, glad to have you with us again. Today we're going to look at the sweetest buzzer-beating shots in NBA history. I love these shots. When the game is hanging by a thread, there's less than a second left and your favorite team scores. Oh boy, it's pure joy. Bring some tissues and leave me alone. It's pure bliss. I decided this won't be a top list, but a compilation of buzzer beaters. Ready? Let's go. You all must remember this shot. It happened not too long ago, and it was executed by Derek White. Yep, that's right. The memory of this victory is still fresh. The rivalry between Miami and Boston escalates each year, and this year's series was crazy in terms of intensity, both among fans and players. It had it all. The conflict between Butler and Grant Williams, the game-winning shot, and the seventh game. Everything we love. But this series isn't just remembered for Jimmy Butler's steel cojones, which he seems to have left in Boston. Let's take a close look at Game 6. The series was 3-2 in favor of Miami. The Heat won the first 3 games and were feeling relaxed, since they were just a step away from victory. However, the Celtics managed to come back and tie the series 3-3. Take a look. Moreover, in just 3 seconds, they managed to miss, rebound, and score. And all of this happened on the Heat's home court. Total humiliation. On the flip side, Jimbo was fired up by this, and in Game 7, he wiped the Celtics out of the playoffs. Although Boston could have had a great story by coming back from an 0-3, oh well. And then there's the miracle delivered by Kawhi Leonard. It was 2019 Eastern Conference second round. Toronto Raptors against the Philadelphia 76ers. Game 7, 4 seconds left. Tied score. Remember this shot? Oh yes. It was the year of the Raptors and the year of Kawhi, when he single-handedly carried the Canadian club to basketball glory. The best part is that this buzzer beater wasn't a fluke, and after this shot, the Raptors became champions. Cool thing is that in the first 2 instances, it was against Jimmy Butler's teams. Let's go back to 1989. It's a year before Jordan's first three-peat. He's still finding his footing in the NBA, proving to everyone that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. Phil Jackson is just inventing the triangle offense. So, victories might be scarce for now, but this shot has truly become a treasure in the collection of buzzer beaters. They simply call it the shot. Boom! Mike took it and buried Cleveland and on their home turf too. Horrifying. Chicago will make it to the next round, but the bad boys from Detroit will be waiting there. So that year went without a championship. And in the NBA, something like this can happen too. Just take a look. The first shot is simply unbelievable. Over the defender, under pressure, tying the score. But not everyone was in agreement. The guys were getting ready for overtime. Everyone thought it would be a mere desperation shot. Devontae Graham collects his nerves and says no to overtime. And he finishes the game right here and right now. Pure madness. He definitely had some fun after the game. After a loss like that, Oklahoma could have disbanded. It can't get worse than that. Now, let's talk about DeMar DeRozan. Somehow, for 2 consecutive days, he gifted us with this wonder. At first, it was just as we love it. Catching it from the corner, executing a spin move, and shooting over 2 defenders. And bam! Game over. Let's savor this shot in slow motion. But apparently, for DeMar, New Orleans was just a light snack. He needed something bigger, like a fish. And literally the next day, it's Indiana's turn. Here it's a bit simpler. Ball in hand, one-on-one play, and a gentle wrist movement, a three-pointer. And note, all of this was on the road. Thanks, DeMar, we thoroughly enjoyed it. My favorite shot is up next. It's not a buzzer beater, and it's not a game-winning shot, but it can boldly be called a winning shot. Game 6, Miami Heat vs. San Antonio Spurs. The series score is 3-2 in favor of San Antonio. The hero of the evening is Ray Allen. 20 seconds left in the game, and the Heat are trailing by 3 points. Miami trusts LeBron and sets up an attack for him. He already hit 1 3, but he misses the second. Chris Bosh grabs the rebound, and there's Allen, stepping back, and bam! The score is tied, and Game 6 goes into overtime. LeBron later says he was mad because at the end of the game, the organizers were preparing for a Spurs victory. Bring out the balls and all that stuff, and as you probably guessed, the Heat won in overtime, just like in Game 7. So, this three-pointer became one of the most crucial shots in that series. Derek Fisher, a 5-time NBA champion, hit his most historic shot in the championship this year. In 2004, the Lakers faced off against longtime rivals San Antonio in the conference semifinals. The game isn't just close, everything depends on each successful shot. Both teams barely crossed the 70-point mark. It's a true battle. With 20 seconds left, Kobe, as usual, takes matters into his own hands. He receives the ball, waits for a screen from Karl Malone, mid-range shot. The Lakers take the lead in the game by 1 point. The Lakers are content, but everyone knows that 11 seconds is enough time to score another basket. Ginobili brings the ball up and passes to Duncan, and we immediately see what they've come up with. Ginobili could have taken the shot but stumbled. Timmy D takes charge and from a tough fadeaway flips the game. Less than a second on the clock, the Lakers lose the game. The players' faces reveal it's all over. But still, they come up with something. 100% certain they'll rely on Kobe's iron heart for the shot. They stand huddled, wondering how he'll run, what he'll do, uncertainty. And there are 2 players on Kobe. He can't pass it there. The ball goes to Derek Fisher, 2 defenders, and a basket. In 0.4 seconds, he had his back to the hoop and still sunk the shot. No one in history had scored in such a tiny amount of time. Later, Kobe will say Derek was his favorite teammate. Well, there's definitely a reason for that love. This shot, I consider it not the coolest, but the most cinematic from a directorial point of view. How beautifully it's captured. Lillard carrying eternal Portland on his shoulders. 3-1 in the first round of the playoffs. He needs a score to advance. Master defender Paul George is guarding Lillard, but Lillard scores cleanly at the buzzer. A cool shot, no doubt, but what follows, as Portland's bench showed us, that's what we love basketball for. Not just for the shots, and also for photographs like this. Here's one of the most satisfying game winners in recent years. It might mean less in numbers than others, but in terms of emotions, it hits harder than all of them. Believe me. Get ready with your tissues, folks. You're going to cry. In 2009, Kobe hit a game-winning shot over the good guy D. Wade. Here it is.
Artest looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in!
And then they had a conversation like this, off the court. Kobe to D. Wade. Hey, D. Wade, how you doing, man? I'm not talking to you right now. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Oh, how sweet. Well, and the last one for today, the oldest game in our collection, more for personal awareness than for enjoyment. In 1976, there wasn't even a three-pointer line yet, but it was the NBA Finals. The series was Phoenix Suns against the Boston Celtics, tied at 2 games each. Game 5 of the Finals, playing for the series lead. Nerves were running high. And all of this was happening at the TD Garden in Boston. And we know Boston fans. Not the friendliest bunch, but incredibly devoted. Regulation time ended with a score of 95-95, but then the outcome of the game was decided in a whopping 3 overtimes. 3 damn overtimes, without a 3-point line. Utter madness. The hero of the game was John Havlicek. He tied the overall score at the end of regulation, then made what seemed to be the game-winning shot at the end of the second overtime. Fans were flooding onto the court, rushing out, shouting in joy, and players were heading to the locker room. But a timing error was noticed. Those damn idiots made several mistakes in the game, so much so that the victory could have gone to Phoenix. A few more seconds were added to the game. Boston fans were unhappy with this decision. One fan went to confront the head referee and even got into a fight with him. Someone climbed onto the scorer's table. The Phoenix players were at risk. But time was added. The Phoenix coach asked for a timeout, which wasn't supposed to be granted, and got a technical foul for it. The Celtics made the free throw, and the score was 111-109 in favor of Boston. But then Phoenix was allowed to have the timeout they requested, and they also got possession. Those were the rules of those old times. While the illegal timeout was going on, fans continued to rebel. Some rushed towards the Phoenix bench. Reserve players had to pull them away so that the coach could draw up plays, and they succeeded. The score was tied at 111-111. The game ended in favor of Boston, 128-126, and many key players had fouled out long ago. Deep benches were on the court. The Celtics managed to keep their morale for the next game and took it, winning their 14th title.